What's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. My name is David Hanlon, aka the Laptop Legend for those of you guys who do not know me. And in today's video, I'm not gonna be talking about the stocks for tomorrow because tomorrow's Saturday. So I figured I'd talk about something else, and the idea I came up with is to talk about the biggest supernovas of pretty much the last year. And if you don't know what a supernova is, it's a stock that goes like this. And pretty much goes straight up. And we got a couple really good examples. I'm also going to talk about probably the craziest one that I know of, that I can think of. It's a little bit older than 1 year, but if you guys have any other great examples of supernovas that I do not talk about in this video, please drop them down below, and I will, maybe make a second video about this. And yeah, it should be pretty interesting. Also, I just wanted to say, closed out a pretty good week today. I finished like 3,500 today, like 3,400, and overall in the week, I was up, $22,259.04. So pretty good week day trading. Even in this slower market, my scalping strategies are really working. So hopefully you guys are taking advantage of those. If you haven't seen my previous video yet where I talk about that, definitely go check it out because it's super helpful in a slow market like this. So yeah, without further ado, let's dive into my computer and talk about some of these crazy supernova stocks. Again, they're low flow NASDAQs, and they go up like 500, 1,000% a day. And there's a lot of room to profit on these things. So let's do it. All right, guys, I'm here at my laptop, and this is what I'm going to use to show you guys the intraday charts of stocks where they ran a year or more ago. Because typically speaking, if you're just on a typical broker, they're not going to let you see the 1-minute candles of charts from years and years ago, which is why I really love this feature of Thinkorswim by TD Ameritrade. This is pretty much the whole reason that I have a TD Ameritrade account. Even though I don't trade on TD Ameritrade, I trade on Fidelity. But if you go here and you're in Thinkorswim, and again, you go to On Demand, I've talked about this in a few videos, this allows you to see the past, which means you can go and see intraday data. So for this particular stock, it might look ugly today, but if I go back, and I believe it's 12, 17, 18, if I'm not mistaken. So December 17th, 2018. Let me grab that right here. Maybe it's December 18th, 2017. Let's try that. Yeah, that's what it is. This stock went absolutely insane, guys. This stock went absolutely insane and saw probably the wildest short squeeze that we've seen. I mean, this is the craziest chart that I think I've ever seen, ever. I think this is the craziest chart I've ever seen, ever, literally. I mean, if you guys know a stock that went more supernova than this, please comment it down below. I mean, I guess technically GME went higher, but the short range, I mean, this was a Friday, so Friday pre-market, it was at $5.50, and it went as high as $142 on Monday in normal trading hours. That is a huge increase. I mean, that is absolutely insane. So if you look at this chart, I just want to talk about some of the features of it and what we can take away, because there will probably be another supernova at some point in the future that is even better than this. And there's some lessons that, hopefully we can take away out of this that will make us be able to be more profitable on trades like this. So let's just zoom in a little bit and see what happened here. So again, guys, for these all-day squeezers, I've talked about this a good amount, but the thing that you want to look at is the fact that they are pretty much always making higher lows and higher highs. Now, this can be on a larger scale. So like you can see in here, let's see, it makes a higher high and a higher low. Higher high, higher low. Higher high, and then starts making some lower lows. But overall, the trend, you can see here, is a higher low because it's still higher than kind of the last low from the previous run. You can see it pushes to a higher high here, makes a higher low here, and kind of just keeps squeezing all day. I don't want to zoom in there. But you guys kind of get the picture, you guys kind of get the picture. It squeezes up higher and then fails to break down. And this is a sign that you don't want to be shorting this, but I think most of you guys who watch my channel probably are not short sellers. So the sign that you want to be going long on this is the fact that it keeps making these higher highs. And it can be scary, obviously, when a stock is up from 550 all the way up to, I mean, it's already at $20. $20 almost. I mean, that's what, multiple hundreds of percent on a day. if you're dip buying here, it could easily dump down here, and it kind of stinks. So it is scary, and this is the type of play that I would have to take small size on, guys. This is the type of play I would have to take small size on. But the fact that it keeps making a higher low and then going to a higher high is crazy, and that's what causes it to squeeze, the fact that it cannot break down. And what all these things have in common, all these stocks I'm going to talk about, they're pretty much all under 10 million float, and they get some type of catalyst. And these are the black horse type plays where short sellers blow up their entire account because they think it can't go any higher, but it keeps going higher, and eventually they have to cover for 500% losses or more. And those are the types of plays that you can really make a lot of money on from the long side with a small amount, if you can recognize it and get in on a dip kind of early, if that makes sense. And this one was just so crazy. So crazy. Like, it kind of looks like it's done here, right? It makes a higher high, but then breaks down. I guess actually no. Yeah, it still holds this support level really well. So that's a good sign. It might continue to keep squeezing. And I mean, this already is up an insane amount, guys. It's already up an insane amount. I mean, look at that. It's up from 5 all the way up to almost 25. No, more than 25. That's a, almost 500% increase in one day? That's insane. But the next day is where it gets really crazy. Next day is where it gets really crazy. So you can see in pre-market, it starts spiking again. Goes from 26 all the way up to 44. You might be thinking, oh my gosh, this thing is so overextended. This thing is so overextended. But just wait. It can't break down past this level, this 35 level. And then it breaks those pre-market highs, comes back, barely breaks down under them, holds really well. It should reject really hard here if it's going to reject. And that's another good sign that you want to long this. And then this thing just absolutely goes insane. And this is where it turns literally supernova. And that's where it goes straight up. And this is where we start to see those multiple upside halts in a row. And that is where the stock starts to get so crazy that it's going to tank insanely fast at some point. When it's going up like this, and it's definitely going up quickly, but there's still some consolidation, after every run. This is still kind of like a healthy move. Don't get me wrong. Up 500% almost in a day is a lot. But when it starts going absolutely insane, that's how you should start looking to take some profits. And this is where I would lock some in along the way, on the way up. And you can see what this stock does. Upside halt, we can look at the time, right? So 10:15, 10:16, 10:17. All right, so it upside halts here. And then it reopens here. But instead of breaking down, even though I think it gaps down a little bit, it just keeps ripping. It keeps ripping. So that's 10:24. And then it upside halts again. So this is 10:25. It reopens. This is 10:30 now. So it halts for another 5 minutes. And if you haven't seen my video on halts, definitely go watch that, because halts are super important when you're trading plays like this. And you need to understand everything about them. You can see halts again at 10:30. Reopens, or halts again 10:25. Reopens here. And then halts again right here on this candle. So halts again. And it pretty much goes straight up, guys. And here's where it starts to get insane. So 10:41 halts at 10:42. And then it reopens here at 10:47. Gap up. Straight into another up halt. Straight into another up halt. So again, that's 10:47. And now 10:48. Up halts again right here. Gaps up again. So it closed at 112. Gaps up to 118. Goes up to 130. And halts again right here. Reopens. Goes as high as 142. And then halts coming down. Now, what's different about this halt is that this is a much longer halt. So this halts at 10:49 a.m. and it unhalts at 11:50 a.m. So again, when you get a stock that's super overextended like this, and then it gets a down halt, that is when, typically speaking, you're going to see a massive dump. And stocks, typically, when they have volatility halts, they resume when there is a balance of buyers and sellers, and they can find a price that there's a good balance at. And in this case, when there's a way over compensation, I can't think of the word, of sellers, the volatility halt goes on a lot longer. So there's so many sellers that they couldn't find enough buyers to reopen it at. So it just kept getting delayed, and finally it reopened down here. in the $60 area. So if you were buying here, if you were chasing up here, you get absolutely screwed. You get absolutely screwed. But here's the thing. There's a lot of potential on the long side if you buy this dip because it gaps down so much. Everyone who's shorting up in here, they shorted at, 130. They're now covering for over a 50% gain in an hour. That's insane. That is insane. They're making some big bucks. And because of that cover, it's going to start popping up because when shorts sell, they have to buy back to cover, which starts the bounce, and then momentum buyers hop on. So there's a lot of opportunity on the washout long, a bounce after it comes crashing back down. So you got to keep that in mind, guys. You got to keep that in mind. And you can't underestimate these bounces because this bounce, watch how high it goes, right? So this is as low as, 56, I'd say a reasonable entry, maybe 65, call it, you get a bad entry. Look how high this goes. This goes as high as 95. You get in at 65, you get out at 95. That's $30 a share. $30 a share in I don't know, 10, 20 minutes, something like that. That's crazy. But the way you need to play this, guys, is not chasing once it starts to do this. You got to just start locking in your gains. And, you might think, oh, David, if I bought right here, I could have made a ton of money. I bought it at 90 and it goes all the way up here. Guys, but you never know where the top is going to be. That is the thing. That is the thing. And most of the time, the top is when it halts down after a crazy run up like this, but it's not always like that. It's not always like that. And you never know when it's going to halt and then not reopen for an hour and then gap down 50% off of that. And I have a couple examples of that for you guys. And, just to show you guys, there is still a lot of volatility down here. Because you can see, I think it gapped down here. So it halted here. And then, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah, it halted here at 12.19, reopened here at 12.34. And then just absolutely bounced again because it gapped down so much. And then had a crazy dip by here. So there's a lot of opportunity on the backside of massive moves like this. And it's a lot safer than buying up here, guys, because we have some charts that I want to show you. So if I go back here are some examples of other crazy runners in the past year. Now, RHE, this is one that I actually traded. I've talked about this a few times, but this was on December 28th. And this is one that I bought. You can see the open was 168. The high of the day was 1577. I ended up buying this one in the $3 area, sold half at like 12, and sold half at like 6 on the way back down after a downside halt. And ACY is actually the example that I want to show you guys for now. So 1228, let's go to, what is that? Yeah, 1220, December 28th, 2020. So it's literally as easy as this, guys. December 28th, 2020, go, and then we go ACY. So you guys can see this chart. And this one gives you no warning and no time to get out because this got upside halted, and it got halted just as a volatility halt, but it turned into a T1 halt. And if you don't know what that means, go watch my halt video. But basically, it's halted pending news. And any one of these halts can turn into a longer halt, which is going to gap down and completely destroy you. And look what this stock did, guys. It halted upside. It wasn't even a downside halt. And it reopened down at $16, went as low as $13. So, if you buy at 35 and it reopens at 16, 17, oh my God, that's a 50% loss instantly. So you cannot chase these things. And RHE, again, was sympathy play, ran on the same day. This is the one that I did. This is the one that I played. And, this one is also crazy, guys. This one is also crazy. I bought this one as like a U-shaped breakout, an ABCD pattern. If you don't know what that is, look it up. There's some good examples on it. But it's basically when you get a nice spike up, and then you get a curling action, kind of like a U-shape, and it breaks through those highs. So if you can buy kind of in this area when it's starting to curl, you risk off the low, and it's pretty good risk reward because if it's a low float stock and it breaks past these highs, it can go absolutely insane. And I think I got lucky on this one that I actually caught a supernova, but it's crazy, guys. It's crazy. So this one did downside halt, and then ACY also halted right at the same time. And then because of that, it gapped down a lot. But gapped down from 1043 all the way down to that 6 area. And this is where I sold the remaining half of my shares. I think I sold half here, and then I sold the remaining half after it gapped down. So they don't always give you warning like this, guys. They don't always give you warning. And if you get caught in a halt, you get absolutely screwed. So the best play typically is the bounce play on these stocks. Now you can see it doesn't always have a good bounce play. It doesn't always have a good bounce play. This one is kind of insane, but I think it's because it ripped down so much before it downside halted. I think if it downside halted at like 14 and then reopened like at 6, I think it would have bounced nice. But because it downside halted at like 10, I think that kind of ruined it. ACY had kind of a better bounce play. You can see, I mean, it went down as low as, did it downside halt? I guess it downside halt and then reopened at 13 and bounced as high as 20 pretty much. So that's still a nice bounce there. But there's actually another example that I want to show you guys. This one is kind of an example that breaks the rule that when you have the first downside halt, that means it's over. And this is one that actually confused a lot of short sellers and screwed a lot of them. So if I go GLSI on the 9th, December 9th, you can see how crazy December was by how many supernovas there were, bro. There were so many supernovas. I mean, that's crazy. All right, let's go to December 9th, GLSI. December 9th, right here. GLSI. Now, look at this, guys. Look at this chart. Look at this chart. From $5 to $158 in one day. That is insane. That is absolutely, positively insane. I mean, that is just, I have no words. I have no words for how insane that is, guys. Because, I mean, I think the percentage in this is calculated based on where it opens at. And obviously, it's up a lot at open from where it closed. So, I mean, this says, 883%, but that's because it was up that much from open. If you count how much it was from the beginning of pre-market from yesterday, I mean, you add what? What is that? 16? You multiply by 3? What is that? Over 2,000% on the day? I mean, this might even be a crazier chart than ELFN. This might be a crazier chart than ELFN. But what's wild about this one, guys, is that it breaks that rule. So you can see it does have kind of that holding the higher highs, etc. Let me zoom out a little bit more so we can see that a little bit better. Typically speaking, I like a big spike up and then a curling action making higher highs and higher lows, and then it breaks the highs here. So that's what I love to see on these low float stocks. And again, this is not my specialty, and you got to be really patient for this. But look at this, guys. Look at this. So crazy. I mean, this thing just went absolutely insane. It had a lot of halts, but the wildest thing to me is the fact that it's mind-boggling to see this. It's mind-boggling to see this. Again, this was at $5 the day before, and it ran all the way up to 130, right? So you think it's over. It opens here, spikes as high as 130, and then downside halts at 112. You're looking at this chart, you're thinking, my God, this thing is about to come crashing back down, reopen at, 60 or something like that. Here's the thing. It did not, right? It reopened right here, and that's typically a good sign. If a downside halts up here and does not gap down, it might be worth taking, 5 shares or something. Again, I wouldn't take big sides with this because it's still terrifying. But the fact that it halted downside after being up this much from $5 to $130 and did not gap down after that downside halt is crazy. And then after that, it just continued spiking. So it halted up after the downside halt and then went as high as 158. So what I've seen, guys, is these stocks, they tend to like to top out in the mid hundreds area, whether it's 138, 158. That doesn't mean they always have to top out there, but if they're coming from $5, I don't know that I've ever seen a stock go from under $5 to over $200 in one day. If you guys know a stock that did that, please let me know in the comments down below. But this chart is wild. This chart is so wild. And you can see it did it right towards the end of the day, but it reopened here and gapped down again. So 157, where did this halt? 137. So this reopened 20 minutes later, 157, downside halted again, and then reopened about 40 minutes later at 242. And when it reopened down here, this is a really, really good long opportunity, guys. A really good long opportunity because, again, look how much it's down from those highs. It went as high as 158 and went down as low as, 50. There's decent support in this area. And look how much it bounces in after hours. It goes all the way from I mean, if you let's say reasonable entries here is 50 as an entry. It goes as high as 88 in after hours. I mean, you could easily sell in the 80s. That's a really nice gain. 60% gain, 70% gain in after hours. That's crazy. That's crazy, guys. I mean, that's just a crazy move. And I just want to talk about this one last one. Obviously, there's so many. There's so many. I mean, ears is on here. We know that was a great one. I really want to talk about SPI though, because this one was also insane. This was on let's see, 9/23. All right. Was that October? September? I literally don't know. That's September, right? Yeah, 23. September 23rd, SPI. This chart is also wild, guys, because this one it was literally at $1 the previous day. It was trading at $1 the previous day. So technically speaking, to me, that feels like it's up 4,000% on the day, 4,600% on the day. Versus, I mean, obviously, you know, where the open is, okay, it opened at $3, but the previous day was $1. That is so crazy. Look at this chart. And what does it have in common? Well, the fact that it keeps making higher lows all day long and higher highs. And it cannot seem to break down. Sometimes you have these wedge patterns. Holds, fails to break down. It should be breaking down here, but it's not. It breaks these highs. Boom, completely rips. Nice little pullback, rips again. Keeps ripping, keeps ripping. I mean, that is so wild, guys. And this is another one that gets halted. Downside halt right here. Reopens 30 minutes later. And this is not really down enough because of how big this red candle is. And I think that's another thing that, you know, you guys want to look out for. So if you have a smaller red candle, I think it's a little bit easier for there to be a nice bounce play. Because buying here at 24, I'd be scared. Obviously, if it dropped down to 17, I wouldn't like that. So this is a messier bounce play for sure. And I mean, this thing went as low as 14. This thing went as low as 11.30. But this is just another crazy example of these supernova stocks. And I guess I got one more. I want to show you guys WNW because this one was also wild. When was that? That was on the same, yeah, December 16th. December was insane. December was absolutely insane. And today we actually had a decent number of stocks that went kind of wild. Oh, this stock wasn't even around on that day. This was a recent IPO, I think. What was it, 16th? December 16th. Yeah, December 16th. December 16th. Boom. This one had less volume. But this one also went crazy, guys. This one also went crazy. And a lot of that was in after hours. But you can see, I mean, multiple upside halts. Comes back down, consolidates all day long, refuses to break down even though it should. Refuses to break down even though it should. It's holding the support really well. And then because of that, just keeps spiking, breaks past these highs, and in after hours goes as high as 100. So some of these charts are insane, guys. There's a lot that we can learn from them. There's a lot of opportunities on the long side and the short side. It's scary to short these things. It really is. But, I mean, you can make 50% like that on a big position. I don't know. Maybe I'll try to take a stab at them someday. But for me, right now, I think it's too scary. But hopefully you found this video interesting. Hopefully you found these charts interesting. Again, if you guys know of any other supernovas I missed that are insane, drop them down below. DRYS is actually one that I saw back when I first started trading. I think that was in 2017, Shippermania, if I'm not mistaken. But that one had so many reverse splits that the price is all messed up now. So I can't really show you guys. But again, if you have any other ones, please drop them down below. Hopefully you found this video helpful. If you did and you haven't liked it yet, please smash that like button if you made it to the end because I would really, truly appreciate it. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Friday night or whenever you watch this. Enjoy the night that it is on the day of the week that you're watching this. And I'll see you in the next one. Until then, let's grow better together. Preguntar, bebé, dime por qué te mientes. No puedes esconder todo lo que tú